Hello and welcome to Afterthoughts, a conversation we will have this time to discuss the film The Cemil Show, for which we're very happy to be joined by the filmmaker Barış Sarhan and Umut Eğitimci, the producer of the film. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Hi.
Hi, we're very excited to have your film as part of the festival, as part of our big screen competition. And to start off with, I wanted to discuss perhaps a little bit in this competition. We bring together films that kind of bridge a gap between popular cinema, classical cinema, and art house cinema. What is your thoughts, Barış? How does your film situate kind of in the landscape of film, and is that something that makes sense to you that the Cemil Show is part of this competition?
Yes, thank you very much. By the way, I'm really happy to be in International Film Festival Rotterdam with my first feature. And yes, I didn't know that this section is about popularity and the visuality or mainstream movies when there's a bridge with art house cinema. Years ago, I started to make this movie, and my main goal was the same. I didn't want to make an art house cliche movies, or I didn't want to make a mainstream movie. My movie was exactly this kind of in the beginning, and in the end, as I can say myself, I want to make a bridge between these audiences, these cliches, or these different types. Because in the end, I didn't believe that there is certain type of movies. There's a good movie or a bad movie.
I very much agree. And as you mentioned, indeed, it's a project that you've worked on for a long time. Can you tell us perhaps a bit about what was your initial spark to make this film, your initial idea? And as a follow-up, perhaps, did it change along the way?
Yeah. I'm coming from graphic design and art direction. And years, I worked with clients, and I used my talent with others, and in somewhere I said to myself I should use it for myself, but what is it? So I create this kind of person who looks for his talent. Is there a talent? What's his voice? Or he want to show his talent to the people. So I think this was my main goal, my background. Then there is a moment, a funny moment. I was in a shopping mall years ago, 2010 or something. There is a door behind McDonald's, and it shows us the background of a shopping mall. And when I saw this image, I said to myself, that could be a really great movie to show the background and the foreground, shiny side and the dark side. So I used that shopping mall idea when I saw that door, and I think I combined these two things together, and now Cemil Show is with us. In the years, yes, I worked 8 years for this movie, and I think wrote 20 drafts of script because I couldn't find money, and I worked and worked and worked, and I changed and changed and changed. And in these years, when I changed, I make the film change as well with myself. So yeah, the main idea was the same, but in all these years, I think the film transformed with me.
In a way, Barış, you grew up with this movie, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I was involved at the last point. Of course, he worked many years for this film, and I feel such a privilege to be a part of this huge work and working with a talent like Barış, because he didn't only create the film, the script, but also the visual impact of the film. From zero till the end, he was always there, and he's always there. And I think it's a really lucky thing for a co-producer to be involved with such a talent.
Thank you. And that was, and how did you two then get to work together?
My line producer Önder Önsal meet
A
us
friend of mine, yes.
with Umut. Yes, I think we met in a taxi in the first place, right?
We call it dolmuş.
Yeah, because it olmuş a
In
taxi.
Turkish dolmuş. Yeah,
Yeah,
we met there. And then they told me about their project, and I really got excited because from that point you also made it was something brave, it was something different, unique, and the fact that it got the art house quality with the mainstream perspective, bringing them together and closing that gap, that really excited me from the beginning. And right now, hearing this from you is something, you know, really suitable for our beginning idea.
I think one of the thing that we wait too much years for this movie is that problem. I think because when I took the movie in an art house producer or art house places, they said it doesn't look like a real art house, and I said yes. And when I put it when I take it to a mainstream producer, it says it doesn't look like a mainstream movie. So it was in the middle. So we worked for 8 years. I think that's the main reason.
Thanks. What I also wanted to ask you a bit about, Barış, is the film deals very much with mainstream cinema as well. The legendary actor in the film, the films that are the film scenes that are made and are shown to us. Can you tell us a little bit about genres that inspired you? This era of Turkish film history that's present in the film.
Yes. In fact, in the beginning, there is no old actor. There is a guy behind the scene of a shopping mall, and he wanted to show his talent. But then, I need a person. Maybe maybe the main guy mirror himself with someone. I need that kind of person. Maybe the same kader
Destiny.
destiny, yeah, which has the same destiny. So I created this old villain actor and his life, the back life, the old movies, and the certain life. He's a guy who waits for and die alone in his movie, and every day he's watching his old movies. So this idea, when I found this idea, I get really excited because always I love film noirs and all Turkish movies. And I thought that it will bring a really good perspective, visual perspective to this movie. And in Turkish cinema, there is not too much movie that kind of getting together these two things. So well, this was the first impact for me to choose this kind of movies.
And in your career, you've had a background in design, in advertising. How did your experience inform the Cemil show, or what did you bring coming from that experience?
Yeah, I think in the first place, I wanted to deny that I am a graphic designer or a commercial director. And I worked with, I'm a cinema person, not an art director or something. But in the years, I said to myself, no, Barış, there is a talent, there is a information that you know. Please put them in your movie and please mirror yourself maybe. Then I said to myself, okay, then I will use my talent. How can I use them? I think when a person is a graphic designer, he has or she has a really certain feeling about what is iconic things. And when I start to design the scenes, I use this talent or I use this information. What can a stage could be an iconic scene? And I know that you used our screenshot, a red suit man walking in the Istanbul street. And yes, it was an iconic scene, and it we can say graphically it's powerful. So you choose it as a thumbnail of this section. Maybe this is why you choose it, because iconically it's powerful. So I use this like this. I use this graphic design thing as a commercial director. Yes, maybe um, I'm really happy to work with my colleagues. All of my colleagues, my DOP or my talented musician is coming from commercial backgrounds as well. It makes you really really powerful with the instruments of the cinema, because you are shooting too much movie, you are shooting too much commercial, and you know the light and the camera, you try too much things. So I think I'm really happy now that luckily I'm a graphic designer, then I want to be a cinema person.
Also, may I make an addition to this, because I think it's also important. He used his graphic design skills in the props that we used in the film. For example,
Yes.
the poster behind Barış right now that we can see at the background was designed by Barış, and there were so many of them. Maybe the viewers will catch in the movie scenes, and he used this skill to create this posters and the mise en scène. I think it was really helpful with his graphic design skills.
Yes, I think when we tried to make these old movies, we used the same style as well with my DOP, Soykut Turan. We didn't have too much money, but we wanted to make a really good black and white movies. Then how we will do that? How would we do that? We say, let's eliminate all the other things from the backgrounds, and let's use just light and good costumes. So maybe you can say that they look really powerful, and production-wise, it's really powerful maybe. But there's no money. There's just a good light and maybe the good eye of my DOP. So it
looks, I think, high quality. It looks high value.
Yeah.
Comparing with the budget.
Low budget and
and
film art with a low budget.
Also, maybe you didn't mention about the classical Turkish era much yet. Maybe Barış, you can also talk about that, because Soykut Turan, who was our DOP, also worked with some of the important directors from that era.
Yes.
Even though the films that you created, the black and white movies, that were created by Barış inside the movie they weren't anything like the actual ones in the Turkish films, but still there was a connection. Maybe we can talk about that just a little bit. Barış, you can tell.
Yes, of course. We should choose that what kind of old Turkish movies we will choose. There are huge amount of B-movie melodrama movies, really bad lighting and really bad acting or stuff. But there are some directors, some special directors that try to make something different, and who looks to the French movies or Italian or American gangster movies. And let's say Metin Erksan or Lütfi Akat, and their style was really certain, but not so much movies. So in that period, I wanted to choose that I want to shoot something looking really good. I don't want to shoot a bad light melodrama. So I said to Soykut, okay, that let's make something look beautiful. So we choose that period. It's not so much, but Soykut was the student of these two directors, Metin Erksan and Lütfi Akar. So he said, okay, I can do that. They teach me. So we choose that cinema. And I'm in the beginning, when I pitched that movie to the people who has from different platforms, they said, we don't know something about Turkish cinema. Why do you choose Turkish cinema? Maybe it's not good thing for you. And I said, every country has his own film noirs. Every country has his own Sunset Boulevard, let's say. So we have some of them, and we wanted to show it in our movie. Yes.
And something I also was curious about, Barış, is for me the film also deals very much with a certain idea of masculinity. There are men around Cemil and the actor and all the characters he portrays, which kind of all are a certain image of what a man is, which is a mold that Cemil himself doesn't really fit into. Was it important? Was that an important subject for you?
Yes, I think it's too important. Cemil thinks that he is talented, but I think in fact he's not. And he feels himself as an underdog, and he's always like a rat in the background. And I said to himself, why he is like that? Maybe he's like that because his father. Maybe because there's a Zafer character, this mole director who's a really masculine guy. And I want to look for what is the masculinity. Yes, there is a director of the shopping mall, masculine, and it affects Cemil. And one more thing, there is a Burcu character, the main girl. Why she is like that? She looks like not a real woman. She looks like something more fake. Maybe her father was so masculine, and maybe he didn't give any place to his daughter to express herself. So I tried to show the side effects of the masculinity from different characters.
Right, thank you. And then as a final question, in the introduction of the film, you tell us also a little bit about feeling a connection to Cemil in terms of looking for a signature. I really hope we saw here a start of what your signature as a filmmaker will be. But I was curious, what do you think is something that you will bring, what is really part of your signature or style as a filmmaker that you will bring onto next films in the future?
Yeah, I think this is a really hard question because I'm working for the second movie and it doesn't look like this movie. And now I'm looking for that signature as well. In the beginning, for 10 years ago, I have no idea. But when I make this movie, I said to myself, maybe I have a signature. Maybe I know something bold, colorful, and expressive, right? And then the second movie now I'm working on is not like an expressive movie. So I know that I will always be a visual director. But I don't know how to use them. Maybe more expressive or some bold way or more deeper way. Now I want to try to make something deeper and something slow, but again, visually powerful. So we will see, I think.
I'm looking forward to it already. And on that note, I would like to thank you both very much for joining us, Barış and Umut. And our audience, thank you for joining and watching as well. Goodbye.
Yes. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.